like to introduce Louise Laing, who is the CEO of Digital Twin, and then we have Aileen Carville, who is the CEO of Asset House. I would like to welcome you all today to our panel. So maybe Louise, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit first, more in depth what Digital Twin does, and then on to Aileen.
Hi everyone. We've got a business called Digital Twin, and we offer turnkey solutions to businesses and creators that want to create their own fashion lines, digitally, on demand. So we make everything sustainably. We are called Digital Twin because we create digital assets. We have one 3D model that goes to the skin, also an AR filter, and then once that's been utilised, we can then make a production on demand, so we do everything sustainably.
Hi, I'm Aileen, and I'm the founder of Asset House. So Asset House is an IP platform for creators, digital creators and traditional artists, creative artists. We can put their entire portfolio on chain. And it's a combination of creators who are using... Oh. Will I start again, or is it part of that? Yeah. So the creators that we represent currently are digital creators who are blending the traditional practice with generative AI and other software. And what we do on the platform, we look at granular sort of infusion within the practice and document that on chain.
Not really,
I thought I was here for stand-up. So that's what we do.
Hello? I could have said sing a song or something. Okay, so what we look at are these kind of poly workflows. That's what we call them. These workflows that are a combination of workflows that operate in practice, but traditional creative practice, but also these workflows that are now sort of weaving their way into kind of product, into even disciplines that traditionally didn't have tech or AI, in a nutshell.
Okay, so I guess, yeah, so we're really here today to talk about AI. So just to give you a statistic, according to McKinsey, generative AI could add 150 billion conservatively and 270 billion to the apparel, fashion and luxury industry sector's operating profits. So we all know that generative AI has got a clear use case and how it's going to be used in the fashion industries. So I'm going to start off. So we all know that generative AI can be image, it can be text, it can be video, and we know that it offers a whole lot of different types of use cases. So we're seeing advances in design, manufacturing, and customer engagements. They're the kind of three areas that we look at. And I work in the intersection of blockchain and AI particularly, so we're going to flesh out our first question. All right, so how is generative AI transforming the fashion industry, and what are some of the key applications that we're using? We'll start, Aileen.
Okay, so I've worked in luxury fashion for over 25 years, so really have seen how kind of the sort of traditional legacy luxury and accessible luxury has worked and operated within in-house. So all of those across the value chain, that kind of real talent, but that sluggishness of workflows that actually happens, and the huge amount of cost. My area was sort of B2B, sort of commercial, wholesale. So again, the amount of resources that are thrown into that, huge amount of effort for runway shows, and then you go and show them. So using AI, you can see that we can actually, maybe bypass some of those resources, or kind of spend less on the resources, and really enrich the relationships with the tech. So those valuable relationships that you have during Fashion Week with the press, instead of a huge team running around, traveling all over the place, you can augment a lot of that those workflows with AI. So when you're looking at, I know Louise is going to look more at kind of collection, but in terms of kind of virtual showroom, which we are founded Skin Virtual Showroom a number of years ago, but again, looking at those sort of high volume product metadata that really only exists when you start applying technology. There's like sort of a vacuum of data pre kind of a tech application. So I suppose in the last couple of years with COVID, each of us and people involved in fashion have been kind of slowly building these sort of our own sort of infrastructures, I suppose, and now they're becoming more connected. So it means that AI is more useful across the value chain.
Fantastic. And then moving on to Louise, let's talk about it, from a design and production point of view, particularly in digital twin. You're looking at on-demand, sustainable, digital fashion. Can you maybe touch on what you're working on in terms of generative AI and other types of 3D modeling tools?
Yeah, so we've developed a customization tool that basically can plug into businesses and be used by creators. Anybody that wants to have, create and see things naturally themselves. But it's quite time consuming, so you can go on, you can design your own video or your own garments, but it takes time. So using AI to do prompts to change the surface texture, instead of changing the colour, then putting an image on, you can say to AI, I want to have a pink hoodie with purple bubbles all over it, and it can just do it really efficiently and quickly. So we're using AI to speed the customization process and make it, actually I think, to design one hoodie can take 15 to 20 minutes, depending if you know what you want to do. But if you use AI, it can take 5. You can speed it up so much. So we're really excited about that. And also, we'll roll out first one with surface texture. We want to get it to the stage where we can change the design, so you can actually say, I want a V-neck dress, or I want to shorten the sleeves. And because we're kind of operation, we can do the production side as well, that will be implemented in the back end as well. So we see that kind of revolutionising what we can do.
I just want to that as well, there's other great AI tools. So I work in the School of Retail and I introduced ChatGPT for catering to, no it's not, ChatGPT and Midjourney to my first year students, and the way I put it into the assignment was take 2 unrelated brands and create a new product. So I taught my students how to use Midjourney, so they're coming up with IKEA-inspired Nike runners to Tiffany-inspired CryptoPunks, whatever it is. And then in terms of generating, helping them understand how to create marketing campaigns. I even used generative AI to write my exam papers, and answer the questions. So I know that ChatGPT and all these type of AI applications are fantastic. The one I'm probably most excited about would be Drag Your Gown. So basically we teach merchandise planning, right? So you can imagine if you're sitting in front of your computer and you have all these collections up, you can just use AI to drop the hem, create a bow, and this can be done in real time. So it's a very, very exciting time for AI, and it can be used across multiple industries and multiple functionalities. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, can generative AI help addressing sustainability challenges in the fashion industry, and how can it contribute to reducing waste and promoting circular fashion? So maybe Louise.
Well, I think it all goes back to the efficiency, isn't it? If you can actually design what you want using AI and then produce it sustainably, we are eliminating waste from the supply chain. And everything. I think it's not just about automation, it's about customization and segmentation, and using it to be much more efficient.
And then maybe Aileen, about 3D modeling, part of it, seeing the product before it's actually made. I didn't ask you to make that, I'm not your customer. We've got this great opportunity now to present the collection to the consumer before it's made.
Yeah, so all of these decisions in-house before a product actually reaches its first point of contact, which potentially is press or buyer, before, or if it's direct to consumer, it goes straight onto your e-com or into the store. So internally, the amount of ideation that can be done initially with generative AI, but also the creators that we're working with and the designers, they're actually using their own archive to, as sort of the inspiration to see what they can contrive again out of their own sort of DNA. But yeah, the ideation, you've got notebooks, you've got all of these kind of typical assets that are created in advance of setting up, promoting a collection. ChatGPT can be used for a press release. There's loads of different ways. The human touch is always really important in fashion, and we're never going to ignore that. But there are just so many, it takes a a city to get one brand up and running. It really does. People wearing multiple hats, bringing in favours with photographers, etc. And people work like that in a community in the fashion industry, but what if we can kind of use those relationships in more kind of, the Gen AI is coming in here to kind of help as a tool, but there's even better creative output with with all of these people involved. I will say that the creators that we're using, and Christie, who was meant to join us on the talk today, really the AI influence in their work is about 5%. The rest is then iterating their practice around the AI tools. So it's not like you just make a prompt and there you go. There's a huge amount of manual and tech prowess that needs to go into actually creating something good. And I think what we're going to see, I'll finish on that, what we'll see with this creator economy that's emerging, we are going to see divisions of proficiency, divisions of labour and digital proficiency.
I think it's a really interesting thing about people like, will AI replace fashion designers? The thing is you have to be creative to tell it what prompts you need. You can have two very different people, one that knows what they want to create, one that doesn't, and one that doesn't still won't be able to create something because won't be able to tell AI what to do. So the other thing of just about the efficiency was AR, so using AR with AI, so virtual trials, with AI technology can actually help reduce returns, so we're using filters that people can try before you buy.
Yeah, it's fantastic e-commerce too. I mean, the way I see it is, I'm like, hey Siri, create me a 3D, dress with an AR filter in real time and send it to the Zara supply chain. So voice activated, generative AI, 3D clothing is going to be one thing whether it arrives in a physical version or a digital version. I definitely see this in the future. What are the challenges and opportunities with generative AI in the design and collaborative process? And I'll talk about retail myself, but maybe from production and design.
Okay. Challenges from a creator's point of view, you just need to accept that generative AI is here and get used to it and start working with it in some form or fashion. They have to work really hard that the practice is better than the AI and excelling that way. I think from our point of view with Asset House, we are seeing this sort of firewall around creators showcasing their work, and that there is sort of like a stand down of maybe promoting their work. Maybe it's going to be accessed by people who want to use this inspiration for their own generative AI inspiration, exploration and work. And that's why even using generative AI, that's what we want to kind of make very defensible. The absolute sort of transparency of what element of your work has used generative AI or whatever tech you're going to use within your practice for the product, whether it's digital, physical, piece of art, whatever it might be.
I think it's down to IP. I think that's one of the biggest challenges. It's very easy for a designer to go in and say, I want to design something a bit like, well, not that easy, but you have to obviously know how to do prompts, but I want to design something based on Yamamoto, and it can create a whole collection based on that. And then if they release it and they sell thousands of units, who designed it? Where does that inspiration? Obviously, it's usually Yamamoto's inspiration, but it's their collection, and it's so early that it's not been ironed out yet. I mean, we have the same issue with NFTs and the Birkin issue. So I think that's the major thing from a design perspective.
Yeah, agreed. And I definitely think, blockchain technologies, smart contracts are going to play a big role in the IP and monetization of creators. So we say in Web3, well, there's the creator economy, we're staking this in new following. So we know that in Web3, it's decentralization of the internet, and that creators are going to be the next tech billionaires, and that they're going to be using generative AI. But like again, when the artwork is created, maybe we just slap it with the smart contract to say that, hey, this is created by generative AI, or hey, this is created by Louise in 2023 and then modified by Paula in 2004. So even in terms, when I talk to my students about, IP monetization and plagiarism and that kind of thing, identifying NFTs, smart contracts on the blockchain is going to really help. So again, great use of the intersection of those two technologies. And I suppose as well in retail for generative AI, even in the store environment, when I go to, purchase, like a perfume on a metaverse e-commerce platform, it'll be computer generated in real time with hyper personalization. So when I go into, Victoria's Secret at the moment, I see other people's bra sizes, I'm not interested. What I want to be able to do is go onto a metaverse platform and, it'll generate a store in real time with my visual merchandising and my consumer behavior preferences for me. Again, that's generative AI. You're generating store environments, you're generating collections, and then of course, the great thing about technology is you're either A, solving a problem or B, adding value. And we're going back to the data it's really about data. Maybe Aileen, you can speak to that about the data sets and particularly in spatial computing where we're using our phones to capture new data sets which are in 3D.
Yeah, so I suppose again it comes back to what are you going to try and find? What are you going to simulate? And how are you going to consume that or use it? So I suppose traditionally in fashion we've been data poor, and only in recent times with technology we have now kind of an infrastructure for data. We've got data sets, unless smart brands were already working towards that. So we have to synthesize a huge amount of kind of old data to kind of understand, for AI to really help us move forward. If it is along supply chain, if it's along value chain, etc. So these are kind of we've done a huge amount of work on this, by the way, with data modularization, as we call it, from one platform to another. They're doing the same thing, but users are forced to use several different softwares for the same job. And what we discovered was, some people are capturing similar data, but not everybody is. So, that we're moving towards that. And I think what Web3, I suppose, in many ways has allowed this sort of everybody kind of working in isolation with their platforms and their tech, that Web3 is kind of like a focal point where we can start making more sense of it. And with, I suppose, Web3, it's all about the data. If there's no data, you can't be in Web3.
Just moving on from that, we talk about data and who's training the models. And so I did a piece of work with Amazon there about 2 years ago, and they were trying to differentiate, what style was in China versus style in Europe. And again, training the models. And it's very important to have a combination, a very diverse and inclusive community training these models to actually capture what is fashion in China. It's data. Fashion in France is culture, art, lifestyle. Fashion in Ireland is retail. It's always evolving and always changing. Let's talk about, how does it reshape traditional roles and processes in the industry, and how would people get started, I suppose, in generative AI or AR or so on currently? Like, how did you make this one into? I teach it for a living, but
so Louise and myself have been in the fashion industry for a long time, so we've literally gone from analog to Web 2 and now to Web 3 over the last 5 years. And moving into generative AI and AI has actually been sort of an oblique sort of transition, because we're working in tech. Working at that kind of spatial computing, just pre that with virtual showroom, and then when spatial computing arrived in, we'd already started using AR. So, generative AI is kind of like the next step, and even Sophia alluded to it earlier, and I agree with this point that the generative AI sort of look and feel, or kind of manifestation of things looks more like what the metaverse is possibly going to look like, because it's been too pixelated. There's a bit of it's taken sort of customers a long time to get their head around it. They don't really see themselves in it, whereas I think generative AI has that sort of veneer of celluloid human, whatever you want to call it. It's more convincing, more seductive.
Yeah, rock on hyper-personalization real time. Louise, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think there's many brands here, any fashion brands, because Because actually, I think that, I don't know, if you're a fashion brand and you have to do a catwalk, it costs about £70,000, and it's so much money for especially like mid-tier brands to do. So there's technology called like Move AI, which I know Frankie is really immersed in. But actually, you can, you can have the app and you can film people walking, and then put that into Unreal Engine and actually simulate a fashion show with your clothes for £5,000, which is just insane. So, and I think that there's so many technologies around this, I'm not sure what industries everybody's in, that can support an age of businesses. And it's about finding out what those are, and you're obviously all here for a reason, but there's definitely money to be saved within all your companies.
And money to be made.
And efficiencies, you know.
So yeah, 3D e-commerce, and a lot of the future of retail will be built on certain gaming engines. So we're not going to have the same problem with pixelation. Okay, any questions for anybody? Or
I thought
It strikes me with fashion, the $1 billion gap in the market is going from the generated imagery, beautiful as it is, to an actual workable cutting pattern for just-in-time production. Do you know anybody making progress in that space?
so 3D generated AI and pattern making. I haven't found G-Star. G-Star. They did a Savage collection. You should check them out. Yeah.
But then again, they had this sort of internal operations pattern cutters on hand to do that. So it was a really great way of they used their denim. They put some ideas into the journey, and then they were able to kind of pick it away and actually make really good creative patterns of it, and then made it into a collection.
It's like a denim haute couture.
It was very good.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Dress X are pretty bad as well in generative AI, but they use generative AI. So my students, we entered a competition for AR try-on, and then you get like an NFT with wings and stuff. And Louise actually as well, we did a great collection. Louise works with my university on generating digital twin campaigns. So maybe talking about that or.
Yeah, no, just going back to the patterns, I think it's a really, really good question, and something we're investigating, you know, because if we can automate it, it would just be brilliant, you know.
It would be the computer.
The whole end-to-end adjustment, that supply chain.
And a quick question to you all. Do you foresee a time where consumers, not just designers, can go onto e-commerce website and say, this is my avatar, dress me in, I don't know, that dress. And I would see all these different styles.
Yeah, it'd be real time connected to your existing wardrobe and the e-commerce platforms. They can make recommendations.
And then that would be made, or that would search for the inventory in a database.
Well,
that really depends on all of these platforms working together, you know. So this is up to people now who are looking at pattern cutting and automating that, looking at nearshore production, and like that's the thing. The dots can be joined up eventually, and sooner probably than later.
And the only issue then is sustainability. If everyone wants to make their own Nike trainer and you know, counterfeit good, you know, sort of issues.
DAOs and consensus mechanisms on the blockchain.
Well, there we go. Blockchain is definitely one of the solutions.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, round of applause. We've got one last question. Okay, I'll just hand it over to you, and then we've got the next panel. Actually, just.
Thank you for the discussion. I have a question from you, Paula, because you mentioned that you were teaching in academia.
Yes.
What's the future of academia after generative AI, especially in the creative industry?
Okay, well, firstly, there's a whole kind of sentiment around tokenization and the decentralization of education. So we know traditional education is changing, you know, online, and also a lot of my students are not being paid for attention tokens, attendance tokens, and so on. So in terms of AI, I mean, currently I'm from the Faculty of Management, but in terms of the design tools like 3D, Blender, Stable Diffusion, and all those, I haven't taught them, but I teach us Python, image classification, a little bit of Solidity contracts for blockchain. But I definitely think that the design schools will come up on their own, and they have their own online courses. And I think it's going to be by the creator, for the creator, in the creator community. So it's going to be these decentralized communities that are building. I know Leslie Holden, he's got a really great course on design for 3D modeling. So it's going to evolve. For me personally, I did management and retail. We're still looking at really first year applications, but it's definitely education. yeah, I mean, even when I looked at the retention for next year in terms of students progressing, they're not there. High absenteeism, they're not interested. And also when I introduced ChatGPT and Midjourney and cryptocurrencies, I lost about 40% of my student cohort because they left to do other jobs. So I have to go back and rethink. Yeah, we have a retention problem. Yeah. So yeah, academia, we're hurrying, but it is quite slow because my university has 33,000 students in it. So you might be better off going to a private college or maybe London College of Fashion that's specifically in innovation.
Great. Well, thank you. That's all we've got time for. So now we have Paz.
Yes.
Well, Paz, the stage.
I'm